Well, ni hao, everybody. Welcome here to a little Tales of the Big Damn Verse. Hopefully, you can hear us, as I don't see that there seems to be anything coming through this. Boo boo boo. Oops.
Maybe.
Maybe it's picking up just me, I think. Hold on one second, everybody, as I always do something like that. Let's take it from the top. We're taking it from the top, everybody. We're gonna cut this in post. We're gonna cut it in post. Well, ni hao, everybody. We're gonna pretend like the last minute and a half just didn't happen, as
What minute and a half?
I don't know. Anywho, as we are welcomed back in here to the Big Damn Verse, I would like to say to all of you, hello. We are here and we are ready to do what is called an interlude. We are currently in the middle of an episode called Bedside Manners. And in between part one and part two of Bedside Manners, we are going to have a standalone interlude. In this interlude, it'll be treated just like any other episode. It'll be shorter, a little bit more RP heavy, but we will also be able to take advantage of the fact that we are without one of our members, as Laura Lania is not here today, and we don't want to progress too much of the main story without our sweet captain. So, with that being said, I would like to drill down now, and as it is drilled down, I would like you to see inside the cargo bay of the Courtesan Firefly class ship. And in that class ship, we see a woman of utmost class in Lo Jiali, and a girl desperate to find her place in the verse in Elizabeth. As Elizabeth turns to Lo Jiali, she, for the first time, asks the question, "What are you going to do with me?"
Well, there's all sorts of things that we could do, but I want you to be happy, comfortable. I know that life was a bit rough for you growing up, but if you would have it, I would love if you were to be my protege. Like a daughter.
Can I stay aboard the ship?
Yes.
Good.
I'll guarantee it.
I want to stay. I want to land on every planet in the verse with Felix when we break atmosphere. I want to sit on Bai's counter as he makes dinner and teaches me how to. I want to carry myself like Harriet. Captain Harriet might be afraid, but she never shows it. I want to learn to fix people like the doctor, and to be his friend because I think he needs it. I want to be like you. I want to be noticed for strength and not for obedience. Can we do this?
Zhaoli's gonna kind of kneel down next to Elizabeth and take her hands. There are many opportunities for you to learn all of these things and more. Stay with me. She kind of like boops her on the nose. You will learn so many things, see so many planets and places. You won't know what to do with yourself.
And if there's trouble,
Well,
will we stay?
we'll just make sure you're safe. I can teach you how to keep yourself out of trouble to a certain extent, and I'm sure that the rest of the crew has other ideas of how to extract yourself from harried situations.
I think so too. But we have to stay to learn, and I'll go where you go, but I hope we stay.
I plan on staying here for quite a while. There's some things I have to do, places I have to travel, and I would love to do it on this ship with you.
And she bows her head for a moment. Miss Lowe, will we have to hurt them if we stay?
The crew? I don't see why that would be even a thought.
Her shoulders visibly kind of release tension. Good. I was scared we were going to have to.
I don't think so. They seem like decent folk.
They do. You seem like decent folk too.
Well, we'll just have to learn more about everyone. The more you learn about people, the safer you are, to a certain extent.
What's the best thing you've ever learned?
The best thing I've ever learned is how to make friends. And also to read people, so you know who to make friends with and who to keep at an arm's length.
Okay. And will you teach me?
Of course.
And with that,
take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still free. You can't take the sky from me. Take me out to the black, tell them I ain't coming back. Burn the land, boil the sea. You can't take the sky from me. There's no place I can be since I've found serenity, and you can't take the sky from me.
well, ni hao, everybody. We're back, and hopefully everybody can still hear us, as there's audio issues that seem to be popping up in Streamlabs OBS. Please let me know if you cannot hear us, as I'm not sure if you can. Everybody say something just so we can hear if you guys can, they can pick up on you guys.
Say something.
Something.
Good.
Something.
Thanks. I'm just getting real weird. I have nobody else to blame. OBS. As we had that brief conversation and her new protege, Elizabeth, the rest of the crew is up to. For the purposes of this scenario, we will not be having Harriet interact with anybody in the crew, as her primary mission is to keep the Courtesan safe. She will stay back with the Firefly class transport. She will make sure that any buggers or other would-be badgers do not have admittance to any areas they're not allowed to go. So with Harriet playing Watchdog Captain, we now turn to the other members of the crew, as they are doing what?
I'm muted. I'm tending my pigs, as I do best.
Pig tendon. That's a good thing to do. Hustler needs a tendon. And so what is everybody else doing?
Rutherford is in his lab, and he's finally getting a chance to incorporate the medical item that he saved from the hospital.
Okay. The item that you saved from the hospital is exactly what you believe it to be, and you believe with 2 additional items, you will be able to be at full strength. And Felix, what are you up to?
Felix is Felix started drinking last episode, so Felix is having a whiskey because you know what, we're not flying anywhere today, and Felix doesn't actually get to drink very often, and there's some things going on. I don't want to talk about it.
Some things going on, you say. Okay. So where do we find Lo Jiali as Elizabeth is wandering the ship and we get to see exactly what's going on?
Well, if Elizabeth is wandering the ship, Zhao probably securing her things even more than usual in her room, and maybe taking a little peek into what's his face's room of my notes, because it's right next door to mine, Mr.
Bugger Jones?
Bugger Jones.
Yes, with Bugger Jones now, you are able to, are you going in to see exactly what's going on with Bugger? He's currently not on board ship.
Yeah, he's
However,
currently not on board ship.
Yeah, the VBC is still there and it's still
running.
Going? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it's still running. I won't go in. I'll just take a peek, make sure there's nothing really weird going on in there. Close the back. From
Grace Landers?
Yes.
Okay.
Gracie Landers.
All right, so as you're going through the core pad of Grace Landers, this was acquired several episodes ago whenever she attempted to coerce Lo Jiali into signing over her moon, the moon that is closest to Persephone. When you're going through there over the course of your investigations, you find that there are forms to sign to turn over rights of the moon to the Landers Collective. This is a new term. You don't remember there being a Landers Collective. It seems that maybe it was something that was put together after Phil's death. There are wiring instructions for a destination account, and they're presumably there to have Phil's funds returned. Whether she thought that maybe you would be able to wire any money that you received as inheritance back to the Landers Collective, unknown, but she did have the paperwork ready. As you dig a little bit deeper,
I didn't write his will. Not my fault.
Right. As you dig a little bit deeper into the back end of this core pad, you see that before, when they mentioned to you, they were going to presume your identity with somebody else or substitute your identity. You find out the person that was supposed to be that escapee that you were going to replace. The name of the convict escaped from Andersonville prison, and her name is Evelyn Evil Man. She is known for war crimes, terrorism, multiple counts of murder, all seem to be from combat zones during the war. She was an independent, a browncoat sympathizer. She, after the war, was a criminal, a pit fighter. She stands at 6'3", 235 pounds with cybernetic augments. Her spouse's name is Adam Mann. So basically a spitting image of Lo Jiali.
Yes.
What's his name?
Adam Mann. Mann.
Best name.
Okay. Does it say where they're... Well, oh, I guess I don't know where she's currently located. Does it say anything about where the husband is, if he was a war criminal too?
Current whereabouts of Adam Mann place him inside Andersonville prison.
Okay. Yeah. She's just gonna, amateurs.
Just as you're saying amateurs, you get to the last bit of information that you were able to uncover and drag from her core pad. It seems that there is a trade embargo initiated by Grace and the Landers Collective against your moon. With both court and corporate injunctions and manipulations, Grace seems to have effectively ceased any and all mining on the moon. The revenue is now non-existent. Taxes and planetary claims are coming due in 12 months' time. The sum needed to pay the moon will be astronomical. Without revenue and with a failure to pay the Alliance its due in 12 months, the moon will cease to be owned and will be seized and returned to Alliance control.
Yeah, better Alliance than that little twat. I'm just gonna guess, because if this is a core pad, I have access to the core. I'm sure I buy my own core pad. I'm probably just gonna be like, start looking up these politicians whose money do I need to put pockets into. Basically, how to unembargo my moon. I'm gonna start Googling.
Right, you've got a ton of stuff that you need to do. It is at this time that you are able to all kind of congregate for a moment, realize that you have the evening to yourselves, and that what better time to have some dumplings if you guys wanted to sit down, take the table, maybe get Elizabeth back outside, and maybe hash out some of the dirt that's collectively floating around between the married couple in the safety of numbers and in the safety of the general public. All of those terms I use very loosely.
Very safe space.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So everybody, I'm serving some of my special dumplings. I imagine I'm going to start with some steamed pork buns. Right. Oh, they're everyone's favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Buys bows, you know. So it's gonna be good.
Right. It's also meant to be too that you can go to the restaurant as well. Should you?
Yeah, the
wish
one that
it.
we had to hide in the back room.
The one that you guys never had a chance to actually eat the dumplings from because you got into a gunfight.
Right. Well, I made them. So here's what happened for me, at least. I made some, and I'm totally going to be bringing them. Like, all right. So I wasn't sure if we were going out or not, given the situations and all, and you know how much I would love to go out, but we never know these days what we can do. So I went ahead and made dumplings for everybody here.
Oh, splendid. Can I have one now?
Of
Fantastic.
course.
And how does Bai take the table? How does he prep for? Is this just a simple here are the dumplings? Is there more of a ceremony involved with the? Is there more of an effort put into the preparation aspect of it, or the presentation aspect of it?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, it's very, very family style. And so I just put down the whole platter on the table, and I was like, oh, by all means, help yourselves. I don't want to, I shouldn't tell you how to eat or tell you what to do or anything. And I looked to my husband, I looked to everybody, right? Just like, no, it's important that we all are just able to grab as many as we want.
The doctor takes some and like he puts some on like to whoever the person who's his left.
Mm-hmm.
Like puts them in your bowl first, and then he'll put some in his. When I to her, and I'm like, there you go, child.
Felix comes down from the cockpit and has sort of like grease on his hands and shirt sleeves rolled up as he's been keeping himself busy because that's what he does. He tinkers when he is avoiding conversations and such. So he comes in and quietly mentions, I need to go clean up. And
oh, you're joining us? I made you a plate to go because I figured you were so busy that you didn't want to eat with us.
someone has to actually fly the ship.
Yeah, it's so difficult to these days. Here, I know we shouldn't be distracting you. So here, I made you. I give you a small little plate with some of them made. Right, being like, bye. It's very rude.
Yeah.
Right.
I take the plate, I put it down on the table. So, as I said, going to go clean up.
Oh.
And I walk off
Are you not going to come with us to the restaurant? Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, as before he leaves, like when he sets the plate down on the table, Zhao admit these dumplings are delicious. I think as our last night on planet side, we should all go out for dessert afterwards. My treat.
Oh, that would be delightful. Cold protein paste isn't much of a dessert.
Yeah, it's getting a little stuffy in here. I would love some fresh air.
Well, now let's not hand wave these beautiful dumplings that were put out here.
Yes.
I would like to know who partakes of the dumplings. Elizabeth will greedily eat hers because she loves them and because she was starved as a child. But that's in her that's in her traumatic backstory that will never come out. So as you guys are sitting there, and perhaps the smallest in the room, being Elizabeth, can read the chill between Bai and Felix.
We're at opposite ends of the table. Like,
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Two people that when she first met them were anything but cold to one another, playful perhaps, but very warm companions, very warm spouses. And this chill that has settled between them has definitely taken effect or taken root in the notice of this girl. And she spends her time drawing eyes to Felix and then drawing eyes back to Bai, hearkening to the conversation she had with Lo Zhao Li, where she wants to stay on the boat, but now she is beginning to wonder if either of the two of you wish to stay on the boat. And that is, without the need of a roll, something that Bai could pick up on immediately.
Right.
This girl's concern.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to mince words here. Since I know this is the topic of conversations, have I say, yeah, sometimes it's great to go on a trip, but then sometimes what makes a trip so great is when you return home and there's a place to get off the boat and relax and raise pigs and move on. It's sometimes it's really great. Isn't that right, honey?
Felix is like eating. So
Yeah.
I imagine like everyone's eating with like chopsticks. Felix, like everyone's just sort of doing the traditional. Felix is impaling each dumpling like he's holding a commando dagger, like just driving his chopsticks. Yeah,
Right.
and just sort of, and yeah, after an awkward silence, he says, "Was that directed at me?" The familiarity confused me.
Well, yes, of course it was directed at you, honey. How do you feel about being on a ship all the time?
Depends on the company, really.
Jally's trying really, really hard just to not like roll her eyes. Like, oh my gosh.
So what I'm getting is this dinner consists of a lot of silence and the sound of chewing dumplings, as
Yeah.
the rest of the...
The doctor would just like, oh, sorry to break the certain atmosphere, but it seems to get a bit chilly amongst it all. How about we talk about something lighter? We did just successfully complete our mission, and we did help Miss Sholao Li with her trouble. We got a nice boat job as well, which she spent the remainder a few days on, even though it was troublesome. It's cloudy, but mostly sunny.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe we should celebrate by going out.
Why not? I'm sure the
Yes.
captain is keen to have some peace and quiet.
Yes, I think we could all go for some nice dessert after these fantastic dumplings. What did you think of the dumplings, Elizabeth?
They're wonderful. They're always wonderful. She's looking back and forth, and whoever's looking at her at that moment sees a narrowing of her mouth as if she's come to some type of decision. It is the face only an 11, 12-year-old child has not mastered the ability to fleece yet. I'm sure it'll take her mere weeks with Lo Zhao Li and Bai and everybody helping her with the subtleties of social engagement. But as right now, she is an open book and she has made a decision. These are fantastic. They're very good.
I agree.
Felix
Always.
smiles and like tries to be kind of warm. It probably comes on a little forced, but he says, Bai certainly knows how to cook. What's your favorite thing to eat? Were there any recipes when you were growing up, Elizabeth?
No.
Oh. What's your favorite dessert?
We had an ice planet the time that you and I talked.
Me and you.
Those were good.
We're going to get something sugary, and we're going to get something very sweet and very bad for us.
May I suggest one of everything so she can decide what her new favorite is?
Yes.
Why not? Absolutely.
And I would be willing to spend a plot point on this if I need to.
I'm going to.
We would.
Get you, Eric.
And
I shoot myself.
We're not. We're not. No, I just wanted to say. Jesus. I just wanted to say.
Myself. No.
I just wanted to say, it's like, and we're not taking no from an answer, Elizabeth, especially on your birthday. And I want to establish that as true, if that's possible.
You want to just guess that's her birthday, or you want it to actually be her birthday?
No, I want to be her birthday, and I think I would have done something to have realized that at some point talking to her.
Like you've had the doctor like cut one
Right.
of her arms off and count the rings.
Count the rings,
like,
right.
Yeah. Count. Jeez. If I can. If you think that's out of the realm of something I can do, that's cool too.
Let's do this. Let's say that when the doctor went over her initially after the original, when you guys picked up Elizabeth, he ran scans all over her. If you wanted to go to the doctor and get a best guess from when she would have been born, the technology at that time would have been able to, reverse engineer her.
I have a better idea.
Oh yeah, I've got one as well.
My idea here is that
no one cares, Eric. So,
Bye,
I'm
guys.
still mad. I'm still mad at you. I'm still mad at you. You've tortured me for like 3 episodes, man.
Please go ahead.
No.
Okay. What I wanted to say is that maybe there's some kind of role about the doctor that it is true. It is their birthday, but maybe what I don't know is that their birthday is also like a really freaking sad time. Like something, you know what I mean? Like birthdays are actually not a good time for people.
I'll offer a counter.
And there's something that like I did not know about that.
What
I'll
I
tell you
was
this.
saying is, can we just ask her when her because we're talking about dessert, right?
Mhm.
So what I was going to do is just say, well, for your birthday, you must have had cake growing up. And if she doesn't know her birthday, we declare today is her birthday.
Yeah,
I could.
that's
yeah,
even better.
Because she's never had she doesn't know birthday. So we're just like, today is now your birthday. Like,
Like
someone mark it on
that's
the birthday.
perfect. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Yes. No, thank you, Josh. No, that's exactly it. Right. Like, oh, so I don't say it's your birthday. It's like,
I know.
like, what's your favorite dish on your birthday?
It's almost like you married me for a reason, Eric. Not that you remember nowadays.
I don't know. It's been so long.
It's
perfect though. I love it. I love that.
I love you.
It's really good.
Okay, so she will say, I never had anything for. We never celebrated. I don't.
You never celebrated your birthday.
No.
You don't know when your birthday is. Well, you'll have to fix that. And she's gonna look at between like Bai and Felix, like, right? We're gonna fix that, right?
We're gonna do something productive. Well, like Felix changes like on the spot because he now has a problem that he can actually fix. Like that's very much his mentality. So yeah, he just says, "Well, we can't have that." So, what about today?
today for my
Being your
birthday?
birthday. We can do all of the birthday things.
Get
You have a lot of
all
birthdays to catch up on.
of the sugar. That is a big part of birthdays is eating a lot of sugar. Desserts. Oh, and presents. We'll have to pick you out something really nice in town that you like.
If we could just all go together, that would be present enough.
We'll get you something. But there's something you need to understand. Birthdays are all about surprises as well. So we can't tell you what they are. So how about this? A couple of us, we're going to go and get you some presents. And we're going to wrap them up. And Lo Jiali can take you to get something nice to wear for your birthday. And then we'll all meet at the restaurant and we can have a big dessert. And do presents.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's go.
All right, let's do this.
She hops down and helps Bai clean up the table and puts everything back in its place.
Aw, she helps me?
Second she starts.
I don't have to do it alone.
Second she tries to, I am going to take over and I dismiss everyone. I'm going to do all of the washing up.
Aw,
She's a birthday girl. She's a birthday girl.
I thought I was going to have to do them. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Okay, so as you guys all kind of congregate outside or right inside of the personnel door of the Firefly on your way back into Eve's Down proper, you guys all gather together. Anything you want to take with you, you can have your normal whatever. This is not a military op, but if you guys want to have your normal stuff, that's perfectly acceptable, as it will be just Eve's Down.
Just imagine being in a dessert restaurant. Sure would be good if we had some grenades right about now. For no reason.
All right. Okay, so you guys are all going out, and as you exit and kind of seal up the courtesan, as you do,
pomegranates, everybody, pomegranates.
Right.
Sorry, granadas. Joke.
As you guys are going out, Elizabeth drops back until she takes both Bai's hand and Felix's hand.
Felix is in so she comes over and Felix is in the process of strapping his gun to his hip, and she comes over and takes his hand and he can't do the belt buckle up, and he just sighs and very, very reluctantly puts the belt down on the side and chucks a cloth over it and just sort of kid's birthday. Don't need to carry a revolver. Come on, you can do this. And I'm not going to take my gun.
Yeah.
Got a knife in my boot, don't get me wrong, but I'm not taking the gun. So I'm working at it, okay?
Just for once, can you go out and not have to?
Come on, acknowledge that I tried.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll acknowledge that you tried. I say very condescendingly. All right, let's get out of here.
As they're kind of walking off, I kind of skip towards Zhao Lei, and I'm just gonna say, I'm just kind of as well away from them a bit. I've noticed that you're spending a little time with the young girl.
Yes, I think she'd make an excellent protege, as I never had any children of my own.
Oh, so you're planning to adopt her then?
Potentially. That is what she likes. She is an old enough child to make her own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But I am taking her under my wing to a certain extent, yes.
Of course. It was just wondering because of the, incidents we seem to find ourselves in, that it might not be more prudent to, you seem to know Persephone more than any of us, give her a good home with someone.
Well, I feel that there's a valuable lesson to be learned in each experience we've had thus far. I mean, after all, there's no use in sheltering the girl. The world's a dangerous place. The verse is a dangerous place.
It's true. And I did ask you, what was it the whole incident was about, anyway?
Oh, Well, never had any children of my own, but unfortunately, I at one point had a stepdaughter. My husband, Mr. Landers, Phil Landers, he died in an unfortunate, tragic accident on the moon up there. Spacesuit malfunction. It was quite awful, but she was quite young at the time and never really got over it. She was rather upset that I had moved on and got remarried. She's
Quite
always
a-
very clingy.
Quite a lot to do, though, for someone who's just simply upset. How framing you for it's quite a lot.
Her father left pretty much all of his inheritance to me, rather than his ex-wife and his daughter.
Oh. Were you not on good terms with her then? I'm sure owning the moon gives you some liquid assets. You could have set her up for life. Quite easily, maybe. I'm not sure.
It is quite profitable when it's not being trade embargoed. Just kind of just looking up at the moon like, ooh, you people. But her mother was quite well off. I don't see why she would. When I saw her, she seemed quite well off as well. She's probably just bitter.
It's the man who they had dealing with you. Remember the one who gave you the pad who told you your DNA?
Yes.
Yes.
That one.
I never found him.
Oh.
But just by his skill, I could tell that he was someone of repute. Someone that cost a pretty dime.
And thus why I do not think they are hurting financially. And just bitter out to get me for some reason. Children sometimes.
Indeed.
Stepmother was, well, her mother. It's never a good influence.
No. So, if I may ask.
Yes.
Since you're dealing with the moon and all that, why was it that Badger was so shifty around you then?
Oh, well.
I mean, you know our business, so feel free
Yes.
to be as uncandid as you want.
Well, I've been married a few times, and there's been a husband that had a few dealings with him. Again, he works on this planet. I own the moon. I've run into him a few times.
Well, then, if you know anyone else on a different area, please let us know. It may help us if we come into the daughter nest again in the next outing.
Will do. I have many contacts on many worlds. Some are more beneficial than others, but I was glad I was able to assist, at least, with Persephone.
Oh, you do have
been-
a modesty.
Quite some time since I've been here, but, a decade or so goes by. Seems I still have a little pull.
Indeed. Well, thank you for answering. It's been nice actually getting to chat with you for this time. It's been so
Yes.
hectic lately. I feel like it
It's
was
been quite hectic. You seem very amenable, Doctor. I'd love to. Maybe we should have a chat over tea on the ship some point.
Yes, what I've been told, my bedside manner is very, warming.
I would assume so. You seem to be quite a competent doctor.
Oh, no. And just kind of walks on.
Mm-hmm.
Smirk.
We'll say that this was taking place as you guys are kind of walking through Eves Down as you're winding your way through there. Where are you headed? Are you headed like deeper into Eves Down for treats? Are you headed into the nearby Rue de Oak? Are you looking for higher end stuff or just regular fare?
Well, we want her to try all of the desserts. So probably a place with a lot of variety. Maybe if there's like a bakery or like sometimes you'll have like a cupcake shop next to like a froyo shop, like something like that. If either there's a bunch of little shops so we can get one of everything in, or if there's one like store that has a lot
We
of
need
variety.
ice cream patisserie, very specifically.
Yeah, we need the Cheesecake Factory, please.
Well, yeah. We'll take the meringue.
A little Chinese bakery would be great.
Yeah.
Up in the Rue de Oak is where we narratively established that there was already a bakery up there, and that
Mhm.
there were the shopping areas and things like that. So
Mhm,
to you
mhm.
all, that's the place that you think of most.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
We'll head there
Sounds
then.
good.
Okay, so as you guys are winding your way through there, taking a right when you hit the docks and heading towards the Rue de Oak, as you kind of pass through the dingier side of Persephone and the Eves Down docks and move into the higher end of the Rue de Oak, this conversation is occurring between Dr. Rutherford and Lo Zhao Li, and as you guys are walking through, Elizabeth maintains the handhold on both Bai and Felix. And as you guys are walking through there, you hear her visibly clear her throat as she says, "How did you guys meet?"
I just give a little smile walking behind.
I say,
Looked shocked. Like for a
Yeah.
moment, like that was the most robotic thing I've ever heard her say.
right. I'm going to smoothly. It's up to you whether or not she can read through the lie, but I'm going to say at a pig show, and I'm going to look at my husband and say, "I won."
What? Okay. Did, but she turns and, trying very much to be like Lo Zhao Li, she
Yeah.
tries to play off of that line to build upon her next one. And she looks at Felix and she says, "Well, what place did you come in?"
Probably the prize. She gives him he gives her like a
Yeah.
half smile, and he looks. Honestly, in that moment, Felix looks pretty tired.
And I break the facade for Elizabeth for a second. I say, "Elizabeth, honey, you're in life. You're always going to be surrounded by herds of pigs. Make sure that the herd that you keep is prize winning."
Oh, and so that's what you think about Felix, since he was the prize-winning pig and you surround yourself with him. He's the best, right?
See? Exactly. This little adorable little hog.
Felix just makes an oinking sound, just one oinking sound.
She looks over at Felix. Does he take care of you? Is he the best at taking care of you?
We take care of each other. I see you pause, right? I say we take care of each other.
Felix nods.
If he's a pig in this, someone has to take. Okay. And she just kind of slumps down a bit as she realizes she's expended her ability to try to.
You know, there's. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look to her and say, you know, like, how is this one of Lo Zhao Li's little exercises? You spend a lot of time with her, which I mean, I don't blame you. She seems very good, very refined. It's a good role model.
Everyone else has a job on the boat. Miss Zhao Li has a lot of time and she's been teaching me.
That's good. What else has she taught you?
Some Chinese.
Some Chinese, and friends are very important.
Felix smiles and says, he sort of gives her a questioning look, and he said, "You said everyone else has a job on the boat. What would you like to do?"
And for the first time, her eyes snap up, and without any type of pretext or pre-programmed response, she looks at Felix and says, "Everything."
Felix chuckles and puts his arm round her, and his fingertips are just sort of brushing against Bai's arm, and he sort of holds her close for a second, smiling, just like remembering what that was like. Like, first time ever Felix stood on the the helm of a ship. And, you know, the current one we're flying, I mean, love her to pieces, but it was sleek, it was still had that fresh smell, like paint drying on radiators as all the components warmed up for the first time in dry dock, and just that heady smell that he wishes he could bottle. And he was there and just loved it, and how taken in he was. And he says, I reckon you'd be a good pilot.
Do you think?
Now I reckon you'd be good at anything you set your mind to. Ships or farming or
Everything.
running a company, anything you want. I'm trying to like fruitlessly get like you don't want to run a ship. You don't want to be on a ship. Like I'm trying, but like it's completely hopeless.
You're like the parent that doesn't want the child to follow in the family trade.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want this.
But anything too, right? Like these things, or running a bank, or
you know what would be good? Staying in school and doing like
Cortex programming. That's really big. You don't want. You don't have to be on a ship.
I mean, I remind you that Mr. Jones is a Cortex programmer.
oh, Felix hugs her. Felix hugs her.
You actually hear a little like from like Zhaoli walking behind you guys. Like it started as like a laugh, and then just coughing.
Tell him we don't hear, right? We don't hear.
Coughing and distracting noises.
It's her birthday and I have to indulge her, but this is not a life for her.
Go on.
All right, I'm gonna bite my tongue and smile and nod and be like, I'm gonna let her have this one.
Of course.
Even though in my heart of hearts I want something much. She's destined for greater things than just to be on the boat.
Absolutely right, because why be the bad guy for once? Just leave it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I want you,
but you're so good at it.
I want you to roll against that. I want you. She's holding your hand.
Sure. Yeah, and, I gotta roll. I'm gonna roll against my better angels. Let's do it. Get out of here, better angels. Is that a social or mental? It's probably mental.
No, this is definitely social because she's got physical contact with you. So social and
focus.
No, I'm gonna make you do trick because you're trying to convince her of something that you're not. You want to go a different direction, but you're.
All right, here's my social. And my trick is D6. 10.
She buys it. She kind of turns for a second, and you feel the pressure in your hand get a little tighter for just a moment, as if she's trying to get your attention to gauge whether or not you really mean, what you're saying. And she lets it pass. She's still only 11 or 12. So 12 if today's her birthday. So as she continues down, you guys get into the Rue de Oak, and you see arrayed before you the finest in upper middle, lower upper class dining, as there are bakeries and cafes, any and everything that you guys could want. Several blocks over, there are the stores that you've already attended, where I'm pretty sure Elizabeth got one of everything. And but just directly in front of you, there is a bakery that seems to be fairly busy with tables out front, tables inside, and a wide variety of fare displayed in both a hollow vid that shows a table or a tray full of fresh goods and actual windows that have trays in there, which is quaint.
Zhaoli will just walk up. She'll be like, if you all would get a table, that would be fantastic.
Yes, of course.
Would it be possible for a few of us to make ourselves scarce just so we can procure a few items?
Certainly.
And I look to the doctor and to Bai and say, I was thinking something that can be unwrapped.
Yes, actually, I have a perfect idea, actually.
Well, meet back here shortly and try not to put her in a sugar coma before we come back.
What's the doctor's here for, right? And she'll
I
be like,
I give Elizabeth a reassuring smile because I've just realized that she might not know what a sugar coma is. She's like, I'm going into a coma. What? The
Yeah,
doctor's gonna be needed. Like, I'm like,
Yeah, her eyes go back and forth to the doctor as he doesn't seem to be too nervous. She doesn't know how to read him anyway, so she goes
Yeah.
to Lo Zhao Li and looks. But
Shelly just winks.
and
Okay, it's
yeah,
good then.
I look at Bai and I say, you're better at gifts than I am, so maybe if we went off together.
I would like that.
At
Good
that
idea.
point, Elizabeth will take her two hands and move them together like she's clapping, and put your two hands together.
Aw. Okay.
And then she goes over and kind of takes the arm of Dr. Rutherford like he is he's taking her to her debut somewhere, and kind of just loops it around, even though she's a little bit shorter.
Yeah, bring my arm down.
Okay. In which case, I guess we are we going our separate ways to go and see if we can get presents.
So is anybody staying at the bakery to get a table, you said, and then some people are running off to get presents, correct?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, like, it's up to you guys, but my plan was to get Lo to get her something to wear or some kind of. I know she's got like a wardrobe, but like a birthday thing, like a hat or like something like specifically for the birthday. And then the rest of us can go and get presents, and then she can, and then we'll all meet back at the restaurant, get a table, and we can do presents over.
Oh, I just reserve a table. I'm like, you're gonna save that table and put 2 of everything on it, and we'll be back at some point soon. Here's money.
Yeah, at first the woman says, I will not be saving you a table. Look how crowded it is here. We've got people that are in here that come in and need that table. We are going to fill that up, and then you slide over money. And as soon as you slide over money, I will hold that table for you. What is your name? It is Lo Zhao Li. She immediately starts filling out a card and bending it over, going over and like tilting the chairs in so you have to like untilt them to sit down.
Yeah,
This
I
is
put
a
it
safe
under
table,
Elizabeth's
everybody.
name.
Oh,
Elizabeth, what's the last name?
Lo.
Lo. And she puts it over there and sets like a, it's not fancy, but it's a nice little placard, and it's, very evident that it says Elizabeth Lo. And like I said, everything seems to be waiting as people go over to touch it. As you guys are walking out, someone goes to pull the chairs down, and you hear the woman say, "Don't you touch that!" And then that's as you guys leave.
Smacks him with a stick.
Right.
I go to Lo and say, "Do you mind if I take Elizabeth and get her eye on the gift that she might like, or rather get the child what she would enjoy instead of my interpretation of her enjoyment?"
Certainly. Would you mind if I accompany?
Of course not.
okay.
Okay, so you guys, we can, if you want to RP any place that you're going, we can hand wave RP. If you want to stick with Elizabeth, let me know what you guys like to do here. The city is yours.
I'm curious. What does Bai think for a present? Because I've already decided what I'm going to get her.
I don't. Yeah. Should we get a gift together? Here's a question: like, should we get like one thing, or should we each get something separate?
I'm gonna get her something that you're not gonna like, but I'm gonna get her something.
You're not gonna get her a fucking gun. You're not doing.
No, I'm not getting her a gun.
Okay.
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to a scrapyard. Any kind of wrecking yard or anything like that. And I'm going to essentially buy a bunch of old scrapped electronic parts for from ships and bits and pieces, and that's all I'm gonna say. And then like, Greg, I can absolutely make this, or like I've made this in real life, so that's like you watch as like Felix like gets all this stuff together, and sort of like puts it in sort of like a big duffel bag. And it's just like, and then just one big piece of metal, like a flat sheet of metal, and slings it over his shoulder. He looks at you and, what did you have in mind?
Okay. Well, I was thinking about something like a coloring book or that.
I have a better idea. I'm gonna make her something to make her feel like she, just like Lo Jiaoli is training her to notice when people are having disagreements. And I was thinking that we could give her a piece of us. I'm gonna make her something to make her feel more part of the crew. I think you should get her a pet. Nothing big. You've always had a way with animals, and you can show her.
Felix, the last thing we want is her to be too attached. She's not staying here.
And a pet can't
You're
come
just,
with
you're
you.
just setting her up for heartbreak later. You can't do that.
And a pet can't come with you. You brought the pigs.
No, we're not doing the. Are my pigs are pets? That's what you think? They're my children. They're one of the last thing I have of home. It's what separates this from just being the ship of us being alive. It's the recognition that there is something else in this world besides the ship. And besides that, this is a means to an end and not an end itself, Felix. And that's why we can't be getting wrapped up giving Elizabeth this hope that they're going to stay on this ship and this is their life. They need to grow and become who they meant to be.
What exactly do you want her to do?
Whatever it is that she wants, but we can't box her into wanting and think that this is it.
No. That's not what you want. You want her to do what you want her to do. That's specifically what you're saying. Because I'm trying to give her options. I'm trying to give her a little piece of all of us so she can understand us more as she's traveling with us. And if she likes something, if she takes to something, then she can make her own path. I'll stand by that. It's too late to stop.
She's never going to choose her own path if we just give her everything and the loving and attention that we need. We can't do that. Look at us. We're criminals. She deserves something better than that.
I'm going to take Bai into an alleyway at this point, like as we're now talking about like.
I know.
We're now talking about like Mr. Crime Pants. Mr. Crime Pants is a different kind of Felix. Like so, I come. I take you to one side just so we're like quiet. And look, what do you want me to do? Turf her off the ship?
No, I'm just saying for her birthday, you shouldn't get her something that is too familial. Care, of course, and look after them, but
birthdays are about family. And yeah, we may not be her family, but we're the closest thing she has. I thought you'd understand that.
I know we're the closest thing she has, and well, she just deserves better than us. And it's going to break my heart if she stays on this ship longer than she needs to be.
And who decides how long she needs to be on this ship?
All of us.
Make up your mind. You said we're not her parents.
No, but we have to be in this circumstance because she's got no one else. But you don't. She was hurt before, and if you give her all of the care and what she needs right now, there's a chance she'll never let that go. I know I would never let that go, and that might hurt her in the long run. She's so smart. She's so smart. I just don't want to see her in this life. All right? She's too smart. She's smarter than all of us. She's smarter than the captain.
if I try and make her feel welcome and try and give her a family, I'm wrong. If I try and push her away, I can't face myself. What do you want me to do, Bai?
I don't know.
Well, maybe
just-
it's time
don't
you
wanna-
actually figured out what you do want.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I can't keep this ship in the air. I can't keep us all together. I can't keep flying when I don't feel like you have my back. And maybe it's not the life you wanted, because it sure as shit isn't the life that I wanted. And you know all about that. You know that I don't have a choice in this. If we were to set up somewhere, if we were to get your farm and we were to have a quiet life, I don't know how long that would last. I have to watch over my shoulder, and you knew that. You have always known that. I've never hidden anything from you. I have lied to every member of this crew. I have lied to friends. I've lied to clients, to employers. I've lied to everyone but you.
Just don't lie to Elizabeth. You can lie to me, but just don't lie to her. I know. This is just there are easy days and there are hard days, and sometimes when it's the happiest days, those are the hardest. Because I'm just afraid. I know what I signed up for. I know when I signed up to be your husband, what that meant. And it's sometimes it's really hard. And sometimes I get reminded of that. And I see it in her. And maybe because I know we don't have a chance. Deep down, maybe I know we don't have a chance for the life that we've always wanted. I just don't want to deny Elizabeth the chance of the life that she wants, not a life that she's forced into. Does that make sense? I don't want to fight.
I just feel like I can't do anything right. Every time I make a call, you find a way to drive it between us, like I wanted to make that call, like I want to make any of these decisions. I've got a whole lifetime of bad choices and regrettable decisions and blood on my hands. And I tried for you to leave all of that behind. And yeah, we are criminals on a rickety ship that I have to patch up every other day. The crew is... Fuck, we hardly know half the crew. And I am trying. And everything I do just blows up in my face. I tried to do something for our anniversary and turned into a gunfight. I tried to be there for dinner and things broke that needed fixing. And maybe it feels like you feel that I don't appreciate you. But the only reason I keep this ship in the air is because you're on it. Sometimes I think you forget that. Because I already took one home from you and it eats away at me, okay? So I'm doing everything I can to keep this one in one piece. But I cannot patch the ship and I cannot cover everyone in a firefight and fix us on my own.
No one's asking you to fix everything, honey. Everyone sees what you do, and it's so great. It really is. I know you do so much. That's what it just. That's why we should just keep fixing us and keep working on us. And I just, I'm just afraid of I just don't want to see anyone else hurt. We might be treading water. We might be doing that. And it pains me to see the innocent Elizabeth, who's been dealt even a rawer hand than I think I even know, be this is the best it's gonna get for her.
It doesn't have to be the best, because we can be better.
Can we? Should we?
If you don't believe that, you're not the man I married. He taught me that I could be better. Have you forgotten that?
Well, when you spend 5 years trying to be better instead of being better, sometimes it's hard to tell.
I didn't marry you for 5 years. This is me. I'm all in. This is not something I'm trying at. This is something I am doing to the best of my ability, and maybe it's not good enough. But that will never stop me from putting the work in.
I don't want to fight anymore. All right. Let's do it. Let's make something for her. You need this. What can I do to help?
And as the camera pulls back from that scene of perhaps a less shaky truce than we've had in past episodes, we will have to see exactly as it continues. But let's go back in now to the Dr. Lo Jiao Li and Elizabeth as they are moving where? Doctor, didn't you have someplace you were going?
Yes, I wanted to go down to the tech district.
Okay, yeah, you're quickly able to go there.
Yeah, and as we're walking through, I want to find one that has a very standard, very normal, like Cortex pad.
Yeah, you can easily find like a base model core pad.
And then I think I go to like maybe like a program shop and get a lot of child puzzles, but like digital puzzles, and I get them to like import it onto the pad, and I'm going to use a plot point to take out a little USB that I kind of got when we talked on the ship about birthdays and presents. I kind of went back into my my cabin and got this. It's a little USB that I plug in front of them, and I plug it in, and it has a lot harder intellectual and tech level puzzles that I have designed myself personally, and I'm going to incorporate that into the pad while also locking the pad, but also allowing for a secret inlaid back route. I'm going to give that to her as a present, as a game, to see how quickly and effectively she can solve these puzzles.
See how talented and advanced she is.
Yes, because after in the car, when she seemed to pick up quite quickly.
Both a gift and a test.
Yeah, she picked up quite quickly. I noticed something, and I'm curious.
Nice. Yeah, she will. And you present her with this, correct?
Yeah, so I go over to her and I go, well, here is your gift, Elizabeth. And I after I take out the USB, I give her another one. And I guess hand her like a blank black USB. And she like taps it, it's not working. And I go, it's a game, it's a toy. It's a puzzle. And I'd like to see if you can solve it. And if she tries to turn it on, it has like a password input. And I give her the USB. If you can get into this and solve the mysteries inside, there will be a little present waiting for you. And the present, I will message you that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so we'll have this isn't something Elizabeth could just do really quickly, is it? This is
No.
something that would Okay.
She'll have to hack into it first, or create a backdoor, and then solve like a Rubik's cube of puzzles, in order to like get further into this.
It's a gifted what is this, like a gifted obstacle course of the mind? If you get
Yeah.
it's a gauntlet. Okay.
Basically, but it's like
Gotcha.
got lots of like child themes, so it's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Right, of course. Everything's in the guise of something else here in the verse. Fantastic. Okay, so yeah, she immediately, her eyes go wide when she sees this present that you've given to her, and she looks at the two of you and she goes, "Is this? If this is to be mine, what should I call it?"
I don't know. What should you call it?
That man, Mr. Jones, he has the VBC, the verse's biggest cod, and should I name mine something?
Give me 1 second. Okay.
So that's what it's called.
That's what he told. What's a cod?
It's a fish.
It's a fish, yes.
Okay.
So, but damn it, Greg. I say to her, name it whatever you want. Name it
You don't even have
after.
to name it now. You could name it later if you like.
That is true. Something that
I have
means
to think
something
about it.
important to you.
Okay.
I believe in you. You're a smart girl.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course. Best
And-
gifts always advance the mind.
She goes to, like, she's going to turn it on, and then remembers something that Lo said about friends being the most important thing, and she closes it and kind of puts it under her arm and holds it. It's nice until you realize it's the exact same way the Bugger Jones held his when he came into the Courtesan. So, you guys heading back to your reserve table, or do you got someplace else to
Yes.
stop?
I believe that I saw a nice bookstore on the way into the tech district. We'll hit that back on the way to get some cakes and treats and sweet things.
Oh, I haven't read a good novel in so long.
Yes, reading is so important.
It really
so
is.
you can get easily lost in a good book. And Shelley is going to buy a wide variety and selection of books. She's going to get some fiction, some nonfiction, some books about, science, a little bit of history, just a broad, like a small shelf's worth, basically, of topics and subjects, and have them delivered to the ship.
Like a quite literal to-do shelf, like
Yeah.
like a bucket shelf. You've got to read these at this age to get. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Because I
Awesome.
really doubt she's gone to school. So
Yeah, you
getting
can
her
tell that she is
some
not.
general basic education on topics and stuff, but if possible in a more entertaining fashion, and also a couple fictional novels and stuff, and a couple in Chinese so she can practice once she gets better at it.
Okay, she, as you're picking them out, she's kind of looking and kind of cracking open each one as you kind of drop another one into her, and then she hands that off to somebody and cracks them open, and she's just swimming. Her eyes don't really know exactly what to focus on, and she said thank you. That's all she said. It's just
Yes.
a stream of thank yous. Yeah.
See, you don't have to read them all now. I have a feeling that during some of the journeys, you might want to stay up, not go to bed. right at lights out time, you can stay up reading if you like. It's always a good way to distract yourself if something is bugging at you or if you're just curious. So,
Okay.
I'm gonna. Does she seem interested in the books?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Yeah, she's absolutely. No, that's a role for something else, but that's
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Great.
no.
Awesome.
Elizabeth likes him very much. No, don't.
Okay.
Loja Ali could read right through it if she didn't.
Okay.
It's as if she's heard of books, heard of Courtesan,
Mhm.
heard of
Yeah.
these nice dresses, things like that.
Yeah.
And
So she's
this
got a
is-
crate of books that's gonna get delivered to the ship, and also just gonna like as we're walking by, just get a nice little like silk shawl scarf type thing and wrap it around her. Gets a little chilly at night, and we are going to have a nice table reserved outside for us. So let's get to it.
If you'd allowed, Charlie, I
Mhm.
would have also put in a few comics and just like art books as
Yeah,
well,
sure.
and just kind of say, knowledge is always good, but seeing a problem through a creative lens is always helpful as well.
Yes. Yeah. Comics, fiction, all that stuff's great. She put some good like epics and classic stories in there too. Gotta have Tom Sawyer. That's a real classic. And entertaining. Mm-hmm.
Not a we, oh god.
Oh, I'm muted. Damn it. Okay. Ancient, thank you. No, anyway, what I was saying is as they round the corner and as they see that the table there at the cafe, they hear from the old lady just before they kind of round into the cafe, get away from there. And they come up and everything on the cafe table is as paid for. There are delectable treats, 2 of every kind, arrayed around there, as there is also a baker from the back who is taking an apron and fanning it to make sure no dust and or insects get onto the prepaid and fabulously tipped baked goods. And so there we go. Yeah, Ancient, thank you very much, brother. So you guys walk up and everything's prepared.
All right. Well, I suppose we can sit down and taste a couple while we wait for the married couple to get here.
Yes, that should be good. I'm looking forward to this. It's so long since I've had something sweet and Moorish. As a doctor, I should really count against it, but good things are good things.
Protein packs only last so long.
Yes, and they don't quite give you that oomph that you look for when you're trying these things.
Really
So
don't.
delightful.
Hand Elizabeth a fork and a spoon. Try whatever you like. Dig in.
She begins kind of like taking little bites of everything.
Mhm.
And the woman comes out and she says, everything okay out here? Everything to your liking? Everything
Fantastic, thank you.
More
great?
green tea, please.
Right. She snaps, and there are no waiters, but there's a cook that's in the apron, runs out with like a pot of tea, and quickly, awkwardly pours it into the doctor's, and kind of is glancing at the woman like, I didn't get any of that money, you know. And as he pours it in, he just kind of walks back inside.
I'll
and
slip him a little tip.
He walks quicker.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of a spring in the step now.
once the woman walks inside, I'm gonna like walk in with her and like kind of get her off to the side and just be like, once our other friends get here, we're going to have a little celebration. It's that young girl's birthday. If you could have some of your staff members come out and just sing happy birthday for her, that would be delightful.
You can see every atom in her being wants to scream at you. That there is a bakery full of people that she is trying desperately to manage, as well as this VIP outside. And while her face twitches and spasms with rage absolute, her eyes are seething with hatred, her mouth says, "Of course."
Thank you. I'll be sure to recommend this place to all my friends.
I've been there. I've been there so many times.
I think we all
We've
have.
all been there.
It's like,
Thank you.
just wait till she finds out it's not actually her birthday. She will lose her shit. That was always the kicker for me.
The
Right.
name's
You come out-
Elizabeth, by the way.
Yes, on the card, Elizabeth. Okay. I'll get on that. And she goes into the, like, not even the back. She can't even go. She's just, she can't get away
Just
from you
walks and
guys.
stands in a corner for a second, like.
Right.
I love it.
Yes, it is the proverbial kiss my grit smile. That is exactly what it is. Okay, so we'll say that Felix and Bai are able to come up at this point, and you see that Elizabeth is eating. She hasn't eaten a lot. She's eaten enough to be respectful, but as soon as she sees the two of you coming, she immediately gets up and kind of pulls out the chairs that are still tilted against the thing and opens it up and realizes now that the two of you are there, she can really eat, because it would have been rude to tear into this and finish certain things if you guys weren't there. So she is ready for you guys.
Oh, I see you two have returned. Did you have a nice time out?
Yeah, I looked at Felix.
Felix nods. Felix has a duffel bag, and I mean like a full duffel bag, like it,
Yeah.
and it jangles. And
Jangles, it's fine. I'm not
clearly-
worried.
It's clearly heavy. And he nods and shoots a little wink to Elizabeth, and he will politely like tuck it under the table and yeah, everything is good.
Good.
And I take Bai's hand as and I will sit down next to him.
There's plenty of dessert for everyone.
Elizabeth smiles. And over the course of the next several minutes, she doesn't make a show of it, but she kind of displays her core pad and mentions that she's going to be reading a lot of books and like just things that she intends to do. And she looks over, but she continues to look at the fact that you two are sitting side by side, where just an hour or so ago you were sitting at the opposite ends of a table, and her eyes stay more on Bai and Felix than they do on core pads and thoughts of books. And it's at that time that there is a very awkward and off-rhythm clap starts from inside the bakery as we hear a and two of the bakers, one of which is covered in like shortening and like stained, who is obviously the one that's actually doing the work back there.
Yeah.
The entire staff comes out with this woman leading them. They have a large kind of like, not like a personal cake, but like a really big cupcake type of thing.
Yeah.
And in the top of it, there are sparklers. There's 3 of them that are kind of firing out, magnesium flares. And they walk up and they begin to sing happy birthday. And as it is awful, They begin to finish with a hum of happy birthday, only mentioning and going back into the actual words when it comes time to say Elizabeth. And
Felix sings so loud. Felix belts it like, and Felix cannot sing. I will tell you now. Felix cannot sing, but he deep sort of from the chest projecting, because there is no way, that she doesn't get a full happy birthday. Else I am going to go back to the ship and get my gun and ruin many hours of marriage counseling. This girl gets a proper happy birthday.
okay, so as the full-throated and very
Happy birthday.
as it roars out, they break back into song when they realize that there's somebody that is can mask them a bit. Strangely enough, the entire bakery begins to sing as passersby on the cafeteria the cafe begin to sing, as people were beginning to clap when they realize that the tray is set down of the large cupcake in front of Elizabeth. And as they're all singing, when the singing stops, and the 2U comes out and floats around everybody, you realize that for the first time that you've ever seen, Elizabeth is belly laughing, and she is rocking back and forth, just laughing as she's looking back, and there are tears running down her cheeks as she looks to each of you in turn. And with a child that's unable to mask the emotions and everybody can see that she is marking this moment as her first birthday. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we will end this episode of the Big Damn Verse, with this exception. I know you got something too, Felix. Back on board. Felix, take it away. As Elizabeth is kind of walking alone down one of the corridors in the Courtesan.
Everyone's kept Elizabeth busy, and Felix has, unbeknownst to Elizabeth, gone into her quarters with the duffel bag and closed the door. And there is a sound of tinkering and stuff coming from. And finally, he will poke his head out, and he will have sort of the crew get together. And he will have someone fetch Elizabeth and bring her back to her quarters. And when she gets back, he will open the door. And inside, made out of scrap and bits and pieces that he's got from downed ships and everything like that, is a desk with a little chair, probably it's probably like I've nicked the chair from somewhere else in the cargo bay, and I've soldered and welded it in place so it's by the desk. And it takes up it probably takes up too much of her room, to be completely honest. But there is a big sheet of metal, and attached to this sheet of metal are buttons and switches from a myriad of different craft. There is a big stick right in front that moves, that is off of a skiff loader. So it's like a proper joystick. And there is a display in front it's just a piece of black sort of material that he has drilled holes through that shine light. So there is what looks to be a star-filled view and a command console or cockpit of her very own little ship that she now has in her room. And he will take her over and sit her down as the captain of her very own little ship, and just leans over and says, "You can go anywhere in the verse." And he will click a little switch, and there's a flash of light as a very small planetarium that is built into where the nav console would be springs into life, and the stars fill the room in a myriad of beautiful different colors. And he stands there with his hand on her shoulder, smiling.
Felix will notice that as he turns that on, when he looks back at her, she's not looking at that, but she's looking at him. And she says, "Oh, I will, but I'm already where I want to be." And she squeezes his hand and begins to do a countdown sequence with the little area that you have given her, and it takes you about 2 seconds to realize, were this in the front of the Courtesan, she would have just turned on the craft as she remembers everything that you did in that cockpit. And as we pull back, the last thing we see is later on that night, Elizabeth has just painted a flower on the outside of her core pad. There is an open copy of Tom Sawyer that is propped up against her bed. And as she pads down the hallway in socks that are probably Harriet's, they're too big for her, they're almost like leggings, she pads down and she goes into Bai's kitchen and retrieves 3/4 of a giant cupcake and very carefully cuts one of the quarters off, puts it onto a plate, and covers it with like a little bit of wrap. And then she pads back down silently through the Courtesan and puts it right in front of Harriet's door and turns around and pads back to her room, jumps in, and as she's heading towards her bed, the last thing she does before she turns off the light is to turn on the stars. And that's where we close the scene for this episode of Tales from the Big Damn Verse. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brown coats of all ages, I like that. I like that because we had to have a chance to get these people to talk without getting shot at. And, you know, I know confessions come out during gunfire, but an alley in the Rue de Oak where a lot of shit needs to be said might just be as good as a battlefield. So I really dug it. I really dug the fact that the doctor is fucking testing Elizabeth, which is the most diabolically shady shit ever, man. Oh, I'm doing this because I want to help you, darling. And it's just all bullshit.
I feel like Xiaoli realizes this and is totally like, yeah, this is a great idea. Yeah.
I believe that she does. And she's like, yeah, let's just see what we got with this one. You know, like it's, you know, you've got to pay. Yeah.
It's about like 64, eh?
just like I imagine Lo Xiaoli like, yeah, I'm in for this wager. Like, let's see.
Nice, right. Yeah, because it's almost like Lo Xiaoli found a painting at a flea market and she took it to the doctor to get it appraised, and they're both just kind of sitting there waiting for the final verdict to come in. We'll see. Love it, love it, love it. You guys did a fantastic job, as always. I love sitting back and almost forgetting that we're, you know, playing a game. I know that Eric said he was talking to or listening to Coldplay during that. I too was listening to Coldplay during that. And when you put that up, I looked at it for like half a second and I'm like, what the, am I playing this through the, you know, I'm like, well, there goes any YouTube that I'm going to be able to put up. But that's awesome, man. That is so, so dope. Anywho, I'm rambling, but I will go around, and as we do our outros, I'm going to drop down to Eric. Eric, what'd you think, buddy?
Oh, everybody! I'm Eric. I love playing. I love playing this game. I love what we get to do with Felix and I. I play Bai McDonald. I'm the moral compass and chef of the ship. I know it seems like if you're ever watching the show and you seems like, man, he's not really like going along with the rest of the crew. He's always like reticent. Like you don't see what the Zoom group chat's going. Like I'm enthusiastically consenting to everything that's going on here. Like I'm saying this stuff, being like, no, like I want to do these things. Like goad me along. Like this is all very like, just so you see behind this curtain. Like this is not like me just being like some toxic trash player anti thing. It's like we're all into it. All right, so like just so you know, there's a way to do it. So like yeah, like I love this show. Everyone, I think everyone likes me on this show too. So that's anyways like that. I'm Eric Vulgaris everywhere. I am the new business analyst for Roll20, so I'm going to get to look at a lot of data and stuff about Roll20 and its user habits and all that kind of stuff, and help give them insights and hopefully improve the website that we love and use so much. I know I use so much. I have almost 5,000 hours on that logged in that site right now. So I'm super excited about it. I could not be more happier for a job about that. But anyways, and I could not be more happier for a game on Fridays like this, because this day I love this game so much. I talk about this game all the gosh darn time. Like I don't think you realize that, but like I don't think I've ever been more excited for a game before, and to be a player in a game before than this game. And I've played hundreds and hundreds of games the past few years, y'all. And this game is just something else. It's really incredible. You do such a great job with it, Greg. All the production, all the effort, and then just the whole cast is just outstanding. It's just incredible.
Oh, right back at you, brother. Absolutely right back at you, man. It's just the absolute best. I tell you what, man, episodes like these where you learn the characters, and we definitely have to have Laurelania here next time so we can do one of these with Harriet, because I desperately want to see more from Harriet, and I know she wants to definitely talk more about her. I think this was a really good one for the different groups and kind of breakdowns that we had for each of them. But I'm going to tell you what, this was going to be so tough, because now with this little interlude, you get more into the character. So if something happens to them, you're more invested with just, 30 minutes of RP is, in my opinion, and Eric will probably fight me on this, is not role-playing, rolling dice. Isn't that what you said before? I know you're joking, but this was a good one. Really liked it. So here, I'm going to throw Laurelania's stuff up in there, and make sure you follow her, please. She will be back next week as we drop up to Lindy. Lindy.
Hi, Greg. I thought this was an awesome game. I really liked how everyone was so Elizabeth-centric. I feel feeling she's going to be quite the glue. I'm so glad she didn't get jettisoned out into space. This was awesome. I feel like Bai and Felix got some stuff worked out a little bit. And I really liked the doctor and Zhaoli hanging out and talking. They're both like, yes, they're playing the game, or they're like, well, we're gauging the other person, but I kind of like you. But yeah. So I think it's great, the intrigue that goes on there. But
it was super Game of Thrones. It was super like throwing
super
in a dart to see how it would be answered. That was the best. That first walk when you guys took off. Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. I love intrigue so much. It's one of the reasons I made this character, is so I can deal with it a little bit. And it was really fun to bounce off the doctor with that. I can't wait to see how it goes next week with all these people on board and teach Elizabeth more wonderful things, because she's a little genius and it's awesome. But you can find me online at Laugh Love Lindy, doing all sorts of stuff on Twitch and Twitter. Tons of tabletop, mostly a little bit of video gaming here and there. But you can find my schedule on Twitter. I post whenever I'm going live. But tonight on Little Red Dots channel, there will be Fate of Cthulhu. We're playtesting that tonight and next Friday night as well. So I'm going to be cyberpunked out for tonight, and which is gonna be real interesting because I have dinner beforehand with some friends. So I'm gonna be like, hey guys, I look really weird, but it's okay because I play Dungeons and Dragons. It's great.
Right.
It's really weird.
You know what? At least it's not Wednesday, and you have to go.
Mildred.
Yeah, how are you? Oh, it's been a rough 2018. Okay. Lindy, awesome. Let's jump down to Josh. Josh, what do you think, buddy?
Wow. One hell of an episode. It's just, I was talking to Eric about this in the Zoom call, because there's a lot of stuff that we all chat like all the time, constantly in Zoom about like ideas and bits and pieces. But I love the fact Eric summed it up perfectly earlier. He said, he messaged me and he just said, it's real. And that's it. That's what I love about roleplay, is expressing real things in unreal situations and finding like what makes the characters flawed, what makes them, feel like actual people. And that's a wonderful thing. And also being able to hash things out finally. And like, I know I joke all the time and I cut Eric off midway through because we're having a bitchy argument and stuff, but Eric's fantastic. So it's an absolute blast to be able to play with him. And when he was like, hey, do you want to be married? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this. This is fucking amazing. Like, no hesitation. Like, yeah, he's like, there's going to be, I'm like, no, like, whatever. Like, let's do this. Let's see where it goes. So it's an absolute blast, but it's so great to be on Firefly. It's possibly, I'm not going to say it is my favorite show because I'm also in a show with Lindy, and that is an amazing show as well. I'm in Vecna Lives with Lindy on the Greyhawk channel on Tuesdays, but it's up there. It's the storytelling is beautiful. Greg, you do an amazing job of like weaving this phenomenal narrative that makes there's something I've found recently is like when world building is it's not so much about necessarily the story, it's about making each place feel real. And I like when you say something, I'm like, I'm there, like I'm in it, like that restaurant. I'm like, and it's just all the little relatable things like just customer service and retail work. Like, oh, it's the worst. When someone's like, can you sing happy birthday? No, I cannot. I have so many things I need to be doing right now. I want to be out on time. So yeah, as for me, if you want to see more of me, you can see me on Tuesdays. I'm in Vecna Lives to an hour after that. I run the Long March over on Encounter Roleplay. And straight after that, we do the World Tree Burns, which is a Kobold Press special written by one fantastic Dan Dillon, who, wouldn't you know, is also a DM, kind of amazing, which is with Kobold Press over on Encounter Roleplay straight after. And I also do other bits and pieces on the internet. Follow me on Twitter, which is in the chat. And if you want to see me genuinely suffer and play a father going through some seriously depressing shit, check out the Time Cloaks podcast. Because if you think Felix has issues, oh my god, I cannot even. But it's wonderful as always.
The most bone-chilling, soul-crushing, bowel-liquefying moment for me in the fight between the two of you was when you said you talked about his pigs, and Eric immediately cut you off and said, "Do you think my pigs are pets?" I thought, "Oh fuck, he's dead." I was like, that was the perfect spouse counterpoint. That was just like, you know what? Fuck you. We're keeping this fight going. And I was like, oh my God. It was very well executed. And speaking about executing things well, let's go up to Pro. Pro, how are you doing, brother?
Don't know what you mean, but yes, just to kind of mirror what everyone else was saying, and I say this every week. Thank you for running the game, Greg. I have an amazing time. I love playing with everyone. The just the way that you run the story and the narrative that you weave in, and the way just your creativity and how your production kind of just mirrors that. It's all enjoyable and riveting. I love just listening to it, even if I'm not playing. So yeah, and I'm also glad I get to be with you as well on Sunday morning for me at about 2 a.m. Failure of Sutton School on the Greyhawk channel. So you can find me over there playing Foxboy. And you can also catch me tonight as well on off underscore the table playing Vampire Boy, Teen Angst Vampire Boy. And on Mondays on the Greyhawk channel, you can find me being Sad Asthma Boy. Yeah, but no, thank you for having me, and I love playing with everyone. It's been great.
All of the edge. All of the edge.
All of the emo eggs.
Right. It's all of the eyeshadow. But you know what? It's like the craziest thing is, man, the doctor is like your happiest, like most upbeat guy.
So worried.
It's really strange. But I was like, wow, you know, Pro's really, this guy's really genuinely fucking happy. And he's just like this.
Also as well, I also did love the intrigue with Lo as well. The just back and forth. I love when I get to do that in games. I'm a very intrigue kind of person myself.
You guys drop really good lines, and I'm going to let everybody go here. But the line that Pro you dropped that was really good is saying, well, you know what our business is, so feel free to tell whatever you feel comfortable enough with telling, which is just an open-ended, like, you can tell me whatever you want if you're comfortable with telling me whatever you want. So it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Love it. Love the wordplay. Love everything. Anyway, chat, you're absolutely fantastic. Ozzy, I will be in contact with you about Conan very soon. But until next time, everybody, when we have our Captain back, and we have Elizabeth, who is going to be attempting to solve some puzzles, and we have a couple that seems to be off the rocks, we're going to get back into it next week, everybody. Please join us then. And until then, keep flying.